So this is the first chapter of the Silmarillion, which is not actually the first chapter of the story of the Silmarils, because this is a story about the creation of the world. I'm not going to try to pronounce its title because it's crazy impossible, but it means the music of the Ainur. There was Eru, the one, who in Arda is called Iluvatar, and he made first the Ainur, the holy ones, that were the offspring of his thought. And they were with him before aught else was made, and he spoke to them, propounding to them themes of music, and they sang before him, and he was glad. But for a long while they sang only each alone, or but few together, while the rest hearkened, for each comprehended only that part of the mind of Iluvatar from which he came. And in the understanding of their brethren they grew but slowly. Yet ever as they listened, they came to deeper understanding, and increased in unison and harmony. And it came to pass that Iluvatar called together all the Ainur and declared to them a mighty theme, unfolding to them things greater and more wonderful than he had yet revealed. And the glory of its beginning and the splendor of its end amazed the Ainur, so that they bowed before Iluvatar and were silent. Then Iluvatar said to them, "Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that you make in harmony together in a great music. And since I have kindled you with the flame imperishable, you shall show forth your powers in adorning this theme, each with his own thoughts and devices, if he will, but I will sit and hearken, and be glad that through you great beauty has been wakened into song." Then the voices of the Ainur, like unto harps and lutes, and pipes and trumpets, and viols and organs, and like unto countless choirs singing with words, began to fashion with the theme of Iluvatar to great music. And the sound arose of endless interchanging melodies woven in harmony, and passed beyond hearing into the depths and into the heights, and the places of the dwelling of Iluvatar were filled to overflowing, and the music of the echo of the music went out into the void, and it was not void. Never since have the Ainur made any music like to this music, though it has been said that a greater still shall be made before Iluvatar by the choirs of the Ainur and the children of Iluvatar after the end of days. Then the themes of Iluvatar shall be played aright, and take in being the moment of their utterance, for all shall then understand fully his intent in their part. And each shall know the comprehension of each, and Iluvatar shall give to their thoughts, and the secret fire being well pleased. But now Iluvatar sat and hearkened, and for a great while it seemed good to him, for in the music there were no flaws. But as the theme progressed, it came into the heart of Melkor to interweave matters of his own imagining that were not in accord with the theme of Iluvatar, for he sought therein to increase the power and glory of the part assigned to himself. To Melkor, among the Ainur, had been given the greatest gifts of power and knowledge, and he had a share in all the gifts of his brethren. He had gone often alone into the void places seeking the imperishable flame, for desire grew hot within him to bring into being things of his own, and it seemed to him that Iluvatar took no thought for the void, and he was impatient of its emptiness. Yet he found not the fire, for it is with Iluvatar, for being alone he had begun to conceive thoughts of his own, unlike those of his brethren. Some of these thoughts he now wove into his music, and straightway discord arose about him, and many that sang nigh him grew despondent, and their thought was disturbed, and their music faltered. But some began to attune their music to his rather than to the thought which it had first. Then the discord of Melkor spread ever wider, and the melodies which had been heard before foundered in a sea of turbulent sound. But Iluvatar sat and hearkened until it seemed that about his throne was a raging storm, as of dark waters that made war upon one another in an endless wrath that would not be assuaged. I hate that word, but you know what I mean. Then Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that he smiled, and he lifted up his left hand, and a new theme began amid the storm, like and yet unlike to the former theme, and it gathered power and had beauty. But the discord of Melkor rose in uproar and contended with it, and again there was a war of sound more violent than before, until many of the Ainur were dismayed and sang no longer, and Melkor had the mastery. Then again Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that his countenance was stern, and he lifted up his right hand, and behold, a third theme grew amid the confusion, and it was unlike the others, for it seemed at first soft and sweet, a mere rippling of gentle sounds and delicate melodies, but it could not be quenched, and it took to itself power and profundity. And it seemed at last that there were two musics progressing at one time before the seat of Iluvatar, and they were utterly at variance. The one was deep and wide and beautiful, but slow and blended with an immeasurable sorrow, from which its beauty chiefly came. The other had now achieved a unity of its own, but it was loud and vain and endlessly repeated, and it had little harmony, but rather a clamorous unison of many trumpets braying upon a few notes, and it essayed to drown the other music by the violence of its voice. But it seemed that its most triumphant notes were taken by the other and woven into its own solemn pattern. In the midst of this strife, whereat the halls of Iluvatar shook in a tremor, ran out into the silences yet unmoved, Iluvatar arose a third time, and his face was terrible to behold. Then he raised up both his hands, and in one chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of the eye of Iluvatar, the music ceased. Then Iluvatar spoke, and he said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor. But that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Iluvatar, those things that ye have sung, I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done, and thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that tempteth this shall prove, but mine instrument is in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself not imagined." Then the Ainur were afraid, and they did not comprehend the words that were said to him, and Melkor was filled with shame, of which came secret anger. But Iluvatar rose in splendor, and he went forth from the fair regions that he had made the Ainur, and the Ainur followed him. But when they were come into the void, Iluvatar said to them, "Behold your music," and he showed to them a vision, giving to them sight where before was only hearing, and they saw a new world made visible before them, and it was globed amid the void, and it was sustained therein, but was not of it. And as they looked and wondered, this world began to unfold its history, and it seemed to them that it lived and grew. And when the Ainur had gazed for a while, and were silent, Iluvatar said again, "Behold your music. This is your minstrelsy, and each of you shall find contained herein, amid the design that I set before you, all those things which it may seem that he himself devised or added. And thou, Melkor, wilt discover all the secret thoughts of thy mind, and wilt perceive that they are but a part of the whole and tributary to its glory." And many other things Iluvatar spoke to the Ainur at that time, because of their memory of his words and the knowledge that each has the music that he himself made. The Ainur know much of what was and is to come, and few things are unseen by them, yet some things that they cannot see, neither alone nor taking counsel together, for to none but himself was Iluvatar revealed all that he has in store, and in every age there come forth things that are new and have no foretelling, for they do not proceed from the past. And so it was that as this vision of the world was played before them, the Ainur saw that it contained things which they had not thought, and they saw with amazement the coming of the children of Iluvatar, and the habitation that was prepared for them. And they perceived that they themselves in the labor of their music had been busy with the preparation of this dwelling, and yet knew not that it had any purpose beyond its own beauty. For the children of Iluvatar were conceived by him alone, and they came with a third theme, and were not in the theme which Iluvatar propounded at the beginning, and none of the Ainur had part in their making. Therefore, when they beheld them, the more did they love them, being things other than themselves, strange and free, wherein they saw the mind of Iluvatar reflected anew, and learned yet a little more of his wisdom, which otherwise had been hidden even from the Ainur. Now the children of Iluvatar are elves and men, the firstborn and the followers. And amid all the splendors of the world, its vast halls and spaces and its wheeling fires, Iluvatar chose a place for their habitation in the deeps of time and in the midst of the innumerable stars. And this habitation might seem a little thing to those who consider only the majesty of the Ainur, and not their terrible sharpness, as who should take the whole field of Arda for the foundation of a pillar, and so raise it until the cone of its summit were more bitter than a needle, or who consider only the immeasurable vastness of the world, which still the Ainur are shaping, and not the minute precision to which they shape all things therein. But when the Ainur had beheld this habitation in a vision, and had seen the children of Iluvatar rise therein, then many of the most mighty among them bent all their thought and their desire toward that place. And of these Melkor is the chief, even as he was in the beginning the greatest of the Ainur who took part in music, and he feigned even to himself at first that he desired to go thither and order all things for the good of the children of Iluvatar, controlling the turmoils of the heat and cold that had come to pass through him. But he desired rather to subdue to his will both elves and men, envying the gifts which Iluvatar promised to endow them, and he wished himself to have subjects and servants and be called Lord and to master over other wills. But the Ainur looked upon this habitation set within the vast spaces of the world, which the elves call Arda, earth, and their hearts rejoiced in light, and their eyes beheld many colors were filled with gladness. But because of the roaring of the sea, they felt a great unquiet, and they observed the winds in the air, and the matters of which Arda was made, of iron and stone and silver and gold, and many substances. But of all these water they most greatly praised. And it is said that the Eldar in water there lives yet the echo of the music of the Ainur, more than any other substance that is in earth. And many of the children of Iluvatar hearken still unsated to the voices of the sea, and yet know not what they listen. Now to water had the Ainu, whom the elves call Olmo, turned his thought, and of all most deeply was instructed by Iluvatar in music. But of the air and winds Manwë most had wondered, who was the noblest of the Ainur. Of the work of earth had Aule thought, to whom Iluvatar had given skill and knowledge scarce than to Melkor. But the delight and pride of Aule is a deed of making, and in the thing, and neither in possession nor his own matter. Wherefore he gives and hoards not, and is fair, passing ever on some new work. And Iluvatar spoke to Olmo, and said, Seest thou not how here, in this little realm, in the deeps of time, Melkor hath made war upon thy province? He hath bethought him of bitter cold immoderate, and hath not destroyed the beauty of thy fountains, thy clear pools. Behold the snow and the cunning work of Melkor hath devised heats and fire without restraint, and hath not dried up the desire, nor utterly quelled the musee. Behold rather the height and glory of the cloud changing mists, and listen to the fall of the rain upon the earth. And in these clouds thou art drawn nearer to me, thy friend, whom thou lovest. Then O answered, Water is become now fair in my heart imagined. Neither had my secret thought conceived the snowflake, nor the music was contained the falling of rain. Manwë, that he and I may make melodies to thy delight. And Manwë and Olmo have from the beginning allied, and in all things have served fully the purpose of Iluvatar. And there's more to this chapter. I'm really from reading, well, not bored, but it's really kind of hard to read out loud. It's not an easy book, especially to read out loud and pronounce. Anyway, so here's the video.